Yeah, my name is Aaron Rhodes, and you're listening to the Shuttlecock podcast, sponsored by the Vinyl Underground at 7th Heaven, offering new and used vinyl at 76 and Truce in Kansas City, Missouri. This week on the show, long overdue,
Yeah,
Kye Colors. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, like I said, long overdue. I think I'll give everyone just kind of a quick rundown of what, I don't know, our last several years of interacting to an extent. So I had found your music originally on SoundCloud. Must have been, I'm pretty sure, 2016, because that's when, I think you had, I think it was, right around the time, how do you say the title? It was, 00? Or
2000.
Yeah, 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right around the time that project came out, and we did an email interview, I'm pretty sure, and that's still on the website, and I did reread that like the other day, and that was kind of fun looking back at that.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's damn near 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, yeah, you must have been one of the first interviews I did on the site, other than Aaron Alexander and maybe one or two others. It was definitely, really early in the site. And I looked in June 2017, we had the pitch interview.
Yep.
That was before Milk is Nasty came out. I'm guessing it was before it was even completely finished.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because the project came out
not on September 11th.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and I'm not sure, maybe I don't know, I get into these weird things where I'm I've already covered this release. We did the Milk is Nasty thing for the pitch. So I was no, yeah, and I think I tried having you on the podcast around the time it came out, but we just didn't really line up.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, long overdue, and now we're here. So yeah, I guess with Milk is Nasty, your most recent project, that still came out a little over a year ago. You had released it. You had the release show at 825. It's on streaming and everything, but then you ended up taking it down for a little bit, and from my understanding, you kind of remastered some stuff, remixed some stuff, and added a few tracks.
Yeah, basically.
So yeah, I was kind of wondering what played into kind of the, maybe not indecisiveness, but the kind of switching stuff around on the project and the re-release and everything.
Well, Milk is Nasty, it was hard. I didn't even have it no more. I threw that shit away because I didn't feel I feel I could have did better. I feel it was rushed, and it was rushed, so I didn't really care for it as much as everybody else did. But once I seen how much people was really they actually liked it, to where they was asking me, what happened to that one song that you had up, or what happened to the tape, constantly begging me.
Yeah.
Fiending for this music that I put out and I took away from them, so that I kind of had to look at it from their point of view instead of just being selfish, because it had some good moments on there.
Yeah.
I was just focused on the technical things, as far as the mixes and the mixing and the mastering, the way I recorded, and I could have did a little more on the production side. I feel I was being lazy on the tape. Yeah. Even at that age, because when I put it out, I just had turned 17,
yep.
But most of it I worked on it from 15 and 16. But I know with a little more effort, I could have made a way better project, for my first project. So I felt some type of way because it was my first project.
Yeah.
But, then I looked at it differently once I, started thinking about putting it back out. It was this could show growth. So then when I put out this next project, you can actually see the growth. the direction of where I want to go as an artist, you know. So yeah, that's what that was all about.
Yeah. No, and I always do kind of find it interesting. Like, well, I'm very interested in just kind of, I'm sure you know, like kind of the preservation and documentation of all like the local music that I care about. So to see, like, it kind of just is a fact you have to deal with in like streaming music, that the music very easily could just vanish.
Yeah.
Like, and for various reasons. So that's something that I'm always kind of having to struggle with. I'm like, oh, do I have this song still? Do I need to like go download this song? And so
shit, cause Millions now it's missing a couple songs. I think I know for sure it's missing the intro and maybe another track, but so that's why I added on other songs.
Yeah. Maybe I could send you some stuff. Maybe I have what you're missing.
You probably got it. Oh, okay.
I'll have to show you my Kye Colors archive later.
I bet, because I'm gonna need that.
But yeah, so you kind of currently feel that it'll be a good way of like showing your progression.
Yeah.
Once your new project comes out, which I think is a cool way of looking at it, and like I think a lot of people who are like overly selective about what they release could kind of take note of, because like, yeah, just because like you're always like ideally you're always going to be making better music than you had made before. Yeah. So there's no like, once you kind of think about that, there's not all that much of a point in like just only having your latest stuff up. But on other occasions, I kind of understand the mindset, wanting to put your best foot forward and everything for whoever might be stumbling across it for the first time. But no, yeah, and you do kind of like the what you put on streaming is a little different from what you just have on your SoundCloud. Right, your SoundCloud is kind of like curated.
Once you take that on, or once you put it on, it's there. Yeah. Like you can't.
Yeah, it's tougher to get it down.
Or none of that. That's there. If you like try to change something, they'll take the song down for a couple of days or even a week. Or if you delete it, it's gone. You could put it back up, but like the link change, you can't change it back
it gets
to
a little
the original
messy.
link, that everybody was clicking to get to that song. Like that happened with I guess Empire had a malfunction with their distribution service or something. So my single Nights, it had got taken down for a couple of days, and I was just thinking I was looking like, what's going on? Everybody's asking me, what happened? Why you take your song down? I was like, I didn't. So then I had to go find out what was going on. So yeah, that's when I experienced that.
Yeah. No, and it's not like it's really relevant in this situation, but I had also been reading a lot about, I don't know, I'm sure you saw like the headline pop up at least. There was like 10 years ago, there was like this fire at the Universal Music Group like warehouse, and they lost like thousands of like master recordings from like all of these like super famous artists that they're never gonna be able to recover at this point, and they don't they don't have the original recordings to go back and like remaster at some point or like re-release. So that like every time something like that pops up, I'm like, ooh, let me make sure I have all my songs.
Make you
back that shit up.
Make you go get a hard drive or something.
No, yeah.
Something. Put it in the cloud or something.
Yeah, if anyone wants to donate me an extra terabyte hard drive so I can download every Kansas City rap song ever, that would be great. But yeah, so you've released like about a handful of songs since Milk is Nasty came out. So I guess I wanted to touch on a few of those real quick. One of the more recent ones is Freaky Deaky with Dadu World.
Yeah.
And I like that song. It's kind of like, I don't know, I think it's kind of fun. Like, and it's the same thing on Doggy too. It's kind of like I don't know, it's at least cool for me to see. It's just kind of like, they feel like to me like coming of age, kind of like player jams, just like, oh, Kye's, he's done with school. he's ready to go.
Yeah.
He's on the scene. But no, yeah, and I noticed on Freaky Deaky, I couldn't think of exactly what line. Like, when you say like, but I ain't walking with a limp. Like, I think you deliver that in like a very similar way to like some other like hook or like line of yours from the past. I feel like maybe it's just kind of like a mix of like flows and deliveries you've used before, but like I don't know, it kind of just struck me as like, oh, that is like a Kye delivery. That's like,
I guess that was natural because that whole chorus I freestyled it. I made that. Like, I made the beat and the chorus I was on Instagram Live showing people how I record and stuff and how I, come up with a song idea. Because when I do come up with song ideas, I do freestyle them or I be humming or something. So when I get an idea what I want to say on the track, I write it down. But I was just like, well, shit, since we here, let's record it. So I showed them how I recorded. So that's how the idea of the song came about. So I guess that's just natural.
Yeah. No, and another thing about it was it's kind of also to me like establishing like your kind of like lore or like mythologies or like furthering that, because you say like you call yourself the Juice Man on it, and like that kind of just throws back for me to like all of your really early shows where you would bring like the carton of juice. Like, were you thinking about that when you said it, or is it just more of like a fun little brag?
A slang word.
No, yeah. For me, I was like, oh wow, yeah, I remember when Kye would have the actual juice.
That could work too. That could definitely work. But I guess that's just a slang word. Like when somebody say like you the Juice Man, it's like all the girls, they fiending for you. Yeah. They own you. So you the Juice Man, you got the juice.
Oh yeah, and I remember I had asked you about the juice carton in the first on the email interview, and you had told me it was kind of inspired by like a lot of pro wrestling that you had watched.
Oh yeah, they always had they little gimmicks.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I guess around when I started turning 17, like the whole things just stopped getting so, I guess, gimmicky. We just gonna say that. It's just, I was focused on the music.
Yep.
And I was like, okay. Because at first it was like I was just having fun with it. Now it's time to zone in on what I really want to be, what Kye Colors really want to be. And I just didn't think that was like, hell, I might bring it back. You never know, but shit. But
oh yeah, it's like, oh wow, Cactus Jack is back. Whoa, like
yeah,
good throwback, good callback to a past era at some point. Like, yeah, it'd be fun.
But I don't know, that's just not my main thing no more. I still love juice. Don't get me wrong, I love juice.
What's your go-to? What
my go-to? I've been drinking water. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I've been drinking a lot of water. But we're gonna go with juice. Let me think. I'm still drinking Minute Maid.
Yep. It's like the regular lemonade or like
the fruity kind, like with the pomegranate berries and shit. All that. If it got like some fruit I never tasted, or it looked like I don't know,
something exotic.
If
something,
it catch
something
my
fun.
attention, yeah, something I never had.
So next time you pull up to the Kye show,
I like watermelon juice. I like watermelon juice.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. That should be here.
So now you know. So your fans could grab you some juice on the way to the next show, maybe.
Yeah, I'm taking all donations.
What else do I have here? No, yeah, on Doggy, that's your most recent track, right?
Yes, sir.
That's a really fun track. It's good. I think it's kind of like a good companion to also for to Lookin' that Ashawn has right now.
Yeah.
Like they're both kind of just devilish, like some fun summer tracks.
Yeah.
And
I ain't even know A. Sean had that song.
no, that song is like
And when
crazy.
I first heard it, I was like, oh, this finna be a
Yeah.
fun summer. So I know people was gonna try to put us on shows together.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind that. Actually, me and him, we was actually giving you praise the other day about you being like the first like person like in journalism to like even look at Kansas City hip hop like the way you do on that type of level.
Well, it's kind of
So yeah,
but
we was giving you the ultimate praise. So yeah,
I'm flattered. But
Aaron Rose pioneered this shit.
I didn't say it. He said it.
I said it.
But yeah, that's a really fun track. A lot of groove to it. A lot of bounce to it.
Yeah.
But something it kind of made me think about too, just also in terms of your catalog so far, is like, I don't know like what part of it made me think about it really even, but it kind of made me think about the way you're using your voice in your music, because I remember like I think the first song of yours I had heard was Sweet Chin Music.
Yeah.
And you are like shouting on that song basically. And I think maybe I'm wrong, but I think everything like after 2000, like did you kind of like make a decision to like take a more toned down vocal approach, or was it just like your voice like naturally changing, or have you noticed that at all? Like
Nah,
you're less about the shouting and stuff at this point?
Yeah. You know I like shouting.
Yeah.
But nah, I don't like if we rapping, I'm not gonna shout. Cause I don't know, I've like when you that age, when you 15,
Yeah.
you know, you looking for your identity and shit. You still going through puberty. So I guess we could say that's what I was doing. And then when I turned 17, hell, even 16, people started saying I would like talk quieter.
Yeah.
Shit even made people mad. But I don't know, my voice got a little softer, even though it was getting deeper. But it got a little softer and smoother. And it matched the way I was, you know, my personality was. People say like, you know, I'm a smooth guy. Or I'm laid back, you know. I'm goofy, but I'm laid back. I don't know. So I guess it just matched me. So I just went with it because that's what it was easier and that was more natural for me. It was more organic. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah.
But now that I think about it, though, I think the moment I first realized that kind of change was happening was on Get Right, because like, did you re-record the vocals for that song like between like releases? Is that right?
Because when I first put it on 2000, I was rapping it like this.
Yeah.
And then when I re-recorded, I was yelling.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was vice versa. I thought originally you were
at first,
louder, and then
that's what it was
toned it down.
intentionally supposed to be.
Okay.
But then, you know, I was just like, let me rap it like this and rap it like this. After I rapped it, in a smoother tone.
Yeah.
Then I was like, yeah, it don't match the energy of the beat. Did it again, sounded way better. But I'm just not into the whole yelling thing no more while I'm rapping.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that was just like, cause I started listening to like, you know, old school boom bap rap, or let's just say Jay-Z, cause that's my favorite rapper. And the way he would rap, he wasn't yelling or anything. It was just the way, or Mace, Jay-Z, Mace. Who else do I listen to? Dipset. Any rappers that rap on them type of beats, I just never heard them yell.
Yeah.
And that was just appeal to me. And the type of beats that I made, you know, was similar to that. So I guess that just meshed together. It was just, that's how Kye Colors is made. I don't know how, but it just happened. So it took some influences and some changes.
Yeah, you can't always know how it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, something else I wanted to touch on was it kind of seems like you definitely always have taken your production work like very seriously, like either like as seriously or even maybe more seriously than you're rapping at some points.
At some points, yeah.
Yeah.
But I try to keep it. I try to keep it, I try to keep it evenly. Let's just try to say just keep it even because in today's climate of music, it's like everybody cares about the beat more than the melodies. Everybody cares about the beats and the melodies that these rappers are singing in, but now nobody's caring about the lyrics being said, the delivery, or none of that shit. And I just want to, when I come in the game and I make this impact that I'm about to make, this new release, I want the rapping to matter just as much as the production, because we going into a new decade, and I just want to be like, I like documentaries and shit. So when they talk about rappers between 2020 and 2030, between that era, between that decade, I want to be on the same pedestal that Kendrick Lamar is on from 2010 to now.
Yeah.
Or Lil Wayne was 2000 to 2010. Hell, even Drake, Or in the 90s, how Biggie and Pac was, or Mace, or whatever. So I just want to be that for this upcoming decade. Be important. Be one of the most important.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah.
I think so. Kind of what you might be getting at is that like you kind of do have to have to some extent like a signature production style behind you, even like if you aren't producing it yourself. Like if you want to be kind of impactful in like your generation.
Yeah, of course. My thing is I want to bring something new to the table since this is going to be a new decade. So that's just my goal right now. Just bringing something new to the table.
Yeah. No, yeah, and that kind of does lead into something I wanted to ask.
While still, I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
While still reaching back into what hip hop has already done. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
No, yeah, I had like kind of a weird wandering thought earlier that I wanted to kind of bounce off you. So, like, I'm not just saying this to like say it, but like the sound you have, the music you're making is very unlike anything that's like in the mainstream right now in hip hop. So I kind of wanted to like, okay, so what I was thinking was, I think like right now really is like the most open like mainstream hip hop and pop has been to kind of like off kilter grooves and like melodic hip hop and like so like a lot of the kind of elements of your music I think that are important to your work like are slowly becoming like more popular in the mainstream. Like it's a weird group of examples, but I think like people like latching on to Blueface, like despite like how kind of weird and off kilter some of his like flows and like rhyme patterns and stuff can be, is like kind of a good sign for like what you're doing, just because
because it shows. Well, here's the thing about that. That, and I don't like talking about other rappers or another artist and what they got going on. But since we brought it up, let's just go ahead and say it. So that, how Blueface is working right now, it's all based off of a marketing scheme. It's not really based off of, the pure talent that he has. Cause hell, he be saying some shit. You know, he be saying some stuff that catch your ear like, oh, that's hard. But if we talking music, let alone let's hear his music without the marketing plan that he had behind him and everything, that shit would not be at the height that it's at right now. Let alone just let his music do what it do.
Yeah.
No. Not as big as it is right now. It wouldn't make it past California, because that's the thing out there, you know.
Yeah. It is very indebted to the California sound.
Yeah, that's
which I think, like, historically, Kansas City definitely has pulled from, or like it kind of exchanged
of course,
with. So
definitely.
yeah.
The Bay, Kansas City take all pieces from the Bay. Hell, I even took some, you know. Well, I would say people would mostly say I sound like I'm from Compton or something, or I'm from like South Central LA when I rap, and I get that a lot.
Yep.
But mainly Kansas City has always been like a child to, you know, Bay culture, Bay hip hop culture. But that's the thing about here. It always changes. We done turned into fucking Chicago. We turning into Detroit.
Yep.
You know, sound wise. But I don't know. Until we get our identity for ourselves, then, you know, it's gonna always sound like we adopt from another city. You know. So.
Yeah, I guess like it kind of is. I mean, to a certain extent, the kind of like middle of the map, like kind of melting pot aspect of it too. But no, it is kind of interesting to think about like exactly what a or the Kansas City sound could be defined as, and you know, that's even as someone who thinks about that stuff like all the time, it's not something I could even easily kind of sum up to you. So so I think I kind of think of it from like two ends of the spectrum. Like I think I was kind of thinking that like Blueface and like similar rappers have kind of like opened up the mainstream's mind to kind of like off kilter like grooves and flows and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, back to the original question.
But on the other end, I think people who like come out of hip hop but are doing kind of more like melodic, groovy R&B type stuff, kind of like Tyler the Creator's new stuff, or like people like Smino or Steve Lacy and stuff like that. I think they're kind of like opening up the people's minds like on the more like poppy melodic side of it, as opposed to like kind of the street rap side of it. So I think you do kind of like fall in between those two ends of the spectrum. So I think as time progresses, like kind of into the 2020s, like I think, you know, that'll turn into like a really like I think your sound will become more accessible to the mainstream, and hopefully you get to benefit from that. I don't know if that's just like a weird thing I made up.
You're completely right. Because when you hear my music, like when you hear my catalog, it's a mixture of things going on, and it's people ask me all the time, like you know, the cliche questions: why ain't nobody signed you yet, or why ain't nobody why ain't the city behind this, you know? And you know, it hyped my head up. So I feel like, hell, if it makes people feel like that, if it makes you know, because now I see like the majority, they starting to catch on here. It's like this just might could do something. So
yeah, I don't think you've ever, you know, I think you're just continually gaining more buzz in the city, and it's cool to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, another, like, I'd kind of started with my production question. It's like you've always taken your production work very seriously, and so I guess I was kind of curious what your workflow production-wise is kind of like right now, and like what has been inspiring like the beats and stuff you make, like as of like, you know, post Milk is Nasty, I guess.
I don't know. I make a beat every day. Well, I ain't gonna say make a beat. I at least try to start on one every day. Cause I don't just have beats laying around. I like to make songs. I like to make, the music. And I don't just give my beats to anybody. Like, if I hear you on it, then I'm gonna present it to you. I'm gonna show you it. And if you come up with a song for it and I like it, or if we, got like, if the chemistry on the song is right, we're gonna make it happen. But I don't just like, unless I'm trying to make a, scrap up some money, I don't just sell beats.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I do. I try to start on a beat every day. Might keep one for myself, or I might, like I said, present it to another artist.
Is the way you like approach like just starting those beats and like working on those songs, like is it fundamentally like different in any way? Like has it changed much in the last year or two?
Oh, definitely. I learned so much. Like the thing about production, you learn something every day. So with all the new stuff I done learned, and all the game that I done picked up, my beat sound way better. And I wish I knew this stuff back when I was working on Milk is Nasty. But you know what? I'm glad I didn't, because now it's gonna show like, progression, mentally, IQ wise towards music.
What kind of like skills or techniques would you say like you've like improved on or picked up?
My transitioning, my mixing, hell, I've been trying to, study the music that's going on today. So then, either way it go, this shit is a competition in some sort of way. So I'm looking at my music like, is this able to compete with the, in the rap market right now? So I look at it as that now. So if I don't think everything that I make is trash, but I'm like, we need something that's gonna sell to the people.
Yeah.
So, and I don't make music for others. That's the thing. I always make music for myself. So when I got a gut feeling towards something, I'm gonna go for it. But if it makes sense, we gonna go with it.
Yeah, you keep the listener in mind though. So that's what you're kind of saying.
Yeah.
Like because you had mentioned earlier, you're like, oh, people really want me to re-release this stuff, so I guess I should.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh yeah,
it's
pay attention to the market.
It's kind of selfish, but even when I started making music, I didn't try to make music for other people.
Yeah.
That just wasn't. It was more, a therapeutic thing, for myself.
No, yeah, it's kind of funny. Like on one end of it, I am very like, I want to have every song by this artist that I care about, but on the other end of it, as a documentarian, I am very like pro having all the songs, but on the like just kind of cultural and like music critic side of me is kind of like, oh, I appreciate kind of when an artist is selfish with their work. Like you like if you want to like make your stuff as like, radio friendly and marketable and or like fan pleasing as you want, like that's definitely up to you. But like part of me is like, oh, it's very cool kind of sometimes when an artist will do like make a decision that kind of their main fan base it might not kind of be all about.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a balance.
Saying.
Yeah.
So like now I try to keep in mind like at least, let's say I'm putting together a 7-song album, I try to have at least three songs that I can, market as singles.
Yeah.
But like the whole project, it gotta make sense to where, I like it.
Yeah.
The way I wanted it to be. So yeah. I get what you're saying though.
Yeah. No, yeah, I guess something we could talk about. I'm not sure how much you can or want to talk about it, but you mentioned on the Yada Yada podcast that you had received an offer from Def Jam Records after the Kansas City. Well, they had reached out to you at least.
Yeah, reached out. Let's just say that it wasn't it wasn't no exact number, or we didn't even have no official contract ready yet.
Yeah.
So much stuff was going on.
I was wondering like how far along things kind of got. Yeah.
It wasn't no more than a bunch of phone calls, except for when the dude that was like, he was tampering with shit because he was basically playing middleman. So he messed it all up. And I didn't want him involved because I didn't know him and he wasn't a part of what I had going on.
Yeah.
And he was trying to play like my manager. He was trying to get somebody else to pose as my manager as well. And it didn't sit right with me. Because I'm 17 and you got all this stuff ready for me, but I've never met you in my life. Yeah. But you want to do this favor for me. And if it was anybody else in their eyes, it would look like, oh, somebody's really recognizing, good music.
Yeah.
But me, coming from where I come from and how I was brought up, that shit kind of like make me paranoid, you know? So even my parents, they was like a little, what's the word?
Just cautious about it.
Yeah, let's just say cautious. They was cautious about that because they never, who is this?
Yeah.
And they wasn't really like, involved in what I had going on either. I usually do everything myself. So when I was breaking everything down to them and how everything came about, hell, they even said, things. They almost started agreeing with him because he was the adult. But I'm looking at it like, who is this dude, you know? So, but back to the question, it never went nowhere. He came and visited. We had a discussion. So I did get to meet him in person. But I'm still in contact with the people, I wouldn't say good friends or anything, but, everything's, cordial.
Yeah.
So, like, the people from that worked for Def Jam. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I think was part of that kind of just, like, you just found my music, like, there's no way you really know, like, what you're about, and, like, even, like, because of that, like, how to best market you, or, like, kind of what to do with you,
and
too,
what
just
they was trying to do,
like, you do kind of...
Yeah, because what they was trying to do, they was trying to sign me because of the house party track. So what he was trying to do, he was trying to make it, gimmicky.
Yeah.
Like, I was getting out of that phase. I'm 17, I'm getting out of that. Like I was breaking it down to you earlier.
Because a lot of people were, like, kind of throwing, like, 90s stuff at you,
like,
and you're like, oh, you're the 90s rapper.
Yeah, I'm not even fucking born in the 90s. I was born in 2000. Like, that, how is that going to work? Even though shit, the 90s is selling right now, but I don't like it when shit don't make sense.
Yeah. We all love the Cardi B Bruno Mars video, so
yeah, that's good enough.
That'll have to do.
Yeah. I don't want my career to be based around that, you know. So
so I guess I was kind of curious about
I was gonna say, like, when I say gimmicky, I mean like that, like based around certain like the Juice Car and shit, or me being based off of the 90s era.
Yep.
Like, I don't want to be a gimmick. I want to be, like, represented, like, in a, what's the word, aesthetic? Yeah, like that. It's like Kye Colors. Like, when you look at him, it's a mood. It's not a, I'm not attached to something.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I'm going to work. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I think that does kind of smartly, like, play into your goal of becoming like an iconic artist of the 2020s. It's like if you're
Definitely.
relying too heavily on any type of sound or aesthetic of the past, like it's gonna be pretty tough to like make a real name for yourself.
Yeah. Gotta look at the longevity of it.
Yep.
Like, how long is this certain trend gonna last? You know.
It's all about
And
timeless music.
I'm gonna get older, so the fans that been with me, like, are they gonna listen to this 10 years from now? Or are they gonna want to show their kids this 10 years from now? Or is their kids gonna want to try to even listen to me?
Yeah.
You know, just shit like that. I think about that stuff all the time when I create. So, yeah, that go into my workflow too. My thought process when I'm creating. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, I think it is growing a little more popular, like, to like be very kind of critical of like major labels and stuff like that when they come calling for some rapper they just discovered. So I think that's a
That's
great
not even
trend
the
to be.
first. Def Jam wasn't even the first label that came to me.
Yeah.
Another what was the fucking name? I remember one time somebody was like A&R from 300 Entertainment. They like your shit. I was like, oh, thanks, that's dope. And they was like trying to like get some shit together. They didn't tell me dude name, none of that. I tell them I'm not trying to sign nothing or anything. I had to be like 16. And then somebody else from it wasn't Capital. It was some like, I think it was Under Capital or something like that. And I said no as well. Like, I didn't even go into any, as far as I went with the Def Jam shit, nothing.
Yeah.
I just said no.
Is it on Midas where you mention like labels hitting you up? So, and that was like, yeah, you were definitely like 16 when that song was out, right? Yeah.
I said no immediately when somebody said a label to me, like they was interested in it. No, I don't, cause I don't have no fan base yet. I know if we go into a meeting, I'm not gonna have no leverage or anything like that, no contract. So any price that y'all throw me, like, I didn't know. So let's say this: if a label do come to me now, I know, and they invite me for like a meeting, go.
Yeah.
Do it. You don't have to sign nothing.
Yeah, you always want to have the option and build the relationship as far as you can without, giving anything in, really. Yeah.
So, I guess that was a little immature for me to say no just because I heard a label.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I thought the whole independent shit was cool too. But I automatically would say no. So now I know better. Don't say no. At least go see what they want, and if it do sound good, hey, it could be, I won't sign nothing unless it's life-changing,
Yeah.
If I can't do it for myself and for my family, then we might have a good deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I was kind of saying that, like, it is kind of cool that it's become a little more, like, acceptable or popular to kind of, like, hold out on the record labels and that type of thing. So it's less of a feat at this point just because so many people have kind of started, like, blowing up and going the independent route still. But, like, I was kind of, I just wanted to say that to say, like, it is cool that you have been so critical about it. And, like, because, I'm sure there are still plenty of people who would just jump and grab at the chance of, like, any type of label interest.
Yeah.
So it's cool that you bet on yourself there. So you gotta do that sometimes.
I'm just trying to do the smartest thing possible, so I won't be mad at myself in the future for just saying because it sounded good. Yeah. Without looking into anything. So I'm glad I started studying more on the business side of things. Like now, and I became more open to things. Like. I think it was around last year, Caviart we got a distribution deal with Empire. So now we distribute our music through Empire.
Mm.
And with Caviart, my music goes through that. I don't have to, but I'm more open to that. So, but 2 years ago, I would have been like trying to work my way around that, trying to do things for myself, even when I couldn't. But it benefited me. It's benefiting right now.
Mm.
What else? I got a new marketing team behind me. 2 years ago, I would have said no. Fucking management. I got a management team behind me now.
Sweet.
So the whole, being hostile to everything, it wasn't gonna help me grow.
Oh yeah.
So now I'm starting to see progress.
Yeah.
Because I became more open.
Mm. Oh yeah, and it's by no means like on the scale that you're working on, but like I definitely did have my own like kind of rebellious streak like early on in like my writing and just like being on the internet and stuff too. So like it is nice to be at a point where you are like confident enough in your work and like just kind of focused enough on it to where you're like, oh, I really don't need to like be causing a scene and everything. But no, yeah, and you like are your like marketing and management people like local folks or?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to Social Apex. So yeah, that's my marketing team.
Oh, So Sam and everyone there.
Yes, sir.
No, yeah, and you brought up Caviart. You guys have the Empire deal right now, and that's cool to see. And so something I had planned on asking was, and this is like by no means like critiquing the way Caviart works, but like something I kind of had thought about was how, I don't know, Caviart right now seems like a little more kind of nebulous than it had been before, like maybe a year or two ago. It seemed like it was like a very tight, like a slightly more tight-knit crew. Like I would see like more pictures and like everyone would be hanging out more and like working very physically together all the time and having maybe more shows together.
Yeah.
But is that something like has the dynamic of the crew kind of changed over the last year or two, would you say?
Yeah, people came and went. People just came and went. And we fuck around and rebrand it and we had to basically not start from square one, but take some step back and do some rerouting for everything. And I'm glad we did because it was at a point where I felt lost, like what's going on.
Yeah.
But really, right now we in a stage where we not rich rappers, so we dealing with real life. So people got kids, people got wives and shit like that, and still going on their own life. So and we still working on the main goal is into turning this into like an empire, a bigger label than what it is now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's really where we at.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we standing still or anything because we still putting out content left and right, but and we don't always move in one unison, but it won't be too long before we get back to that. It's just a lot of planning going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and another thing I kind of wanted to bounce off you, kind of related to that, was so there's the Fuse shows that the Fearless guys like Zarin and Aaron and all those guys have been doing, and then Jesse, that are you working with Jesse right now?
Yeah, that's my manager.
Yeah. So he set up.
He's actually the label manager as well. So
yeah, and he set up that support system show recently, and there are always like there's the the open mic at Oase and all that stuff. So I feel like right now, really, more than in the past 3 or 4 years, like since I've been following like the younger KC hip hop scene, like I feel like right now is the time where the scene as a whole is more kind of communal and less like rigid about who everyone's working with or like doing shows with. And I think that's like a really cool thing to see. Have you kind of thought about that at all?
It's less, because when I first started rapping and all this shit was new to not just me but everybody.
Yeah.
Like everybody putting these shows together and shit, and everybody rapping with each other, working with each other. People would actually get jealous because someone wouldn't work with them or someone wouldn't come jump on their show and shit like that. But it became people not worried about that type of stuff no more.
Yeah.
You know, everybody doing their own thing, you know, and nobody's scared to, you know, reach out to each other. You know, everybody, we know each other now.
Yeah.
So everybody know everybody. So it's no conflict in that.
Yeah. No, and I think
with all this stuff going on, like everybody could have a show on the same day. It wouldn't be no problem.
Yeah.
No hard feelings or anything.
And I think the Spect Cypher was a cool kind of example of that too. Like you're on there with Ray Money, Dadu, Amira, D-Walk, Ashawn. Yeah, that was like you know, maybe a year or two ago, like I don't think that would have happened.
Hell no.
Yeah. No, yeah, and like even like not having to do with like the kind of different crews and groups of collaborators and stuff themselves, but like I think there is even right now more of an openness to like work with like a clothing brand or like a magazine or something like that too, in kind of a more collaborative way.
Because everybody not trying to be rappers no more. Because everybody was trying to rap. But me personally, I want everybody to rap because, you know, there's some people out here that's rapping that can't rap. And there's some people out here that need to be heard that hasn't been heard yet. So that's just my opinion on everybody trying to rap. But back to what I was really going to say. Yeah, everybody got their own, they starting to have their own brands for what they're doing. So the what's it called? Cross branding or the synergy between the brands, everybody can come together and then build each other's brand.
Yeah.
So people starting to collab more. Yeah. And it's not like people are like taking each other's like fans or supporters or anything. Because actually, like, the people that are paying attention, they're liking that.
Yeah.
It don't seem so negative.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like...
No negative feedback or response for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A lot of people, like, moving out of their teens into their 20s, like, a lot of that is kind of, I guess, within a music scene at least, is, like, realizing that you definitely should... to some extent, make your ego, like, take as much of your ego out of it as you can while, like, retaining your artistry, and then kind of realizing that, like, oh, if you help someone kind of, like, become more successful and they end up, like, more poppin' than you are, like, they're in a position to help you out down the road. And I think people are kind of, like, coming to grips with the... Not communal, but, you know, kind of relationship aspect of working in a music scene.
Because, hey, it's all about who you know. So, and I always tell people, like, don't knock somebody because they're, you know, they getting ahead. No matter how they doing it, it's about who you know. Because down the line, they going to reach back. And if they don't have to, if they don't want to, that's an option. But if they do reach back, you never know. You might be the one that they reach back for.
Yeah.
So that's my philosophy for that.
Yeah.
And you could even reach out to them further down the line.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing I gotta say about that too is a lot of artists, why they succeeding right now here is because of, what's the phrase, self-sufficiency. What is it? It's efficiency.
Maybe I don't.
Whatever it is. Everybody's able to do things for themselves.
Hmm?
So it's not like everybody's taking from another person. So like me, for example, I record my own stuff, I produce my own stuff, and I do a lot of stuff for myself that I'm able to. So people look at me as like a resource. So going back to what I was saying, when somebody's ahead, they could become a resource for you when you're doing a lot of stuff for yourself, or when you see them, they have an opportunity, and when they do reach back, they able to contact you, or you able to contact them because you need that. Because a lot of people, they in the same position, and 2 years ago, like you were saying, like we wasn't able to get together on a lot of shit. The playing field is a little less bitter. Everybody's less bitter than they was.
Yeah.
So everything's working out.
Yeah, and I guess I did want to just kind of ask you where things are at in the progress of your next project, Juvenile, that you've been working on. Like just how much of it is done, and like what's it kind of like sounding like to you right now?
I'm in a recording process. It sounds wonderful. I'm still adding on shit and taking off stuff, so I can't even like say how it sound as the whole. I can't say how the whole body of work sound right now, but it's coming together, and I'm liking what it's doing so far.
Cool. Because I know you had been aiming for like a May release previously.
Yeah,
you've been saying that, but like, is it still looking like this summer? Maybe if you had to guess, or like the fall.
and it was actually it's gonna be the fall. It was supposed to be this past May, or it looks like it's gonna be August, mid or end of August. Hopefully before all the kids go back to school.
Yep.
So yeah.
So I know we talked about how your production has kind of grown a lot since Milk is Nasty came out, but I guess I was curious if you could describe what your raps are kind of like on the new material compared to where it was on the last project. Like, what do you think has really changed, like lyrically or like delivery wise for you?
You know how you said I used to yell back then? Okay, I'm not yelling, but the way I on a couple of songs, the way I project my voice, it's let's say it's just more powerful than what you've been hearing from my previous releases. Well, my last couple of releases, where it sounds like I'm just like, laid back or like goofy. I'm actually able to showcase my rapping. Like, I sound like fucking Meek Mill or Nipsey Hussle or some shit. In the sense of the way I project my voice, but for the most part, I sound smooth. I sound like a smooth criminal. That's the way I'm gonna say it right now. I sound like a smooth criminal on this project.
No, yeah, and I know you had said that on the Save It for the Podcast interview you kind of mentioned like the name of the project does kind of tie into like kind of your just kind of antics and kind of just the fun parts of being like a teenager and all that
that's
too.
That's what it's about. This is about Kye Colors. This is about my life. So.
Yeah, what are there any other kind of lyrical themes you've kind of noticed so far in like any of the songs that are just really different or at all?
I'll say the only song is Doggy. The only song that's like how Warning was on Milk is Nasty. I say Doggy is what that is on here, cause like Warner was the only song that sounded like that on that project. So yeah, the only standout song. Oh, and Nights going on there too.
Mm.
So them two, it'd be like you can't see how it fit on there now, but you just have to wait for the
we'll have to
project.
see.
I can't really put it in words right now, but yeah, my voice used to be all over the place. Though I used to always change the way I rap, just because I was finding what I wanted to sound like. Then when I figured it out, then I just went with it and ran with it. So that's where you gonna hear it in this upcoming project.
Okay, and I wanted to ask real quick about you've been doing some work on Mike Two Times' upcoming release, Family Ticket.
Oh well, I've been helping him get certain things together. But as far as
are you producing on it?
No, I don't
Okay.
think. Well, it's one song I produced on there, but other than that, I didn't produce on the project.
Okay.
Mike, he went to school. He's just coming back home. He came back home this past winter, so he's starting to work on music more. And I was just, tied up with so many things. Like I couldn't get to him, I couldn't get to G, I was working on other people's shit, and mine. So, and they understood that. We had an agreement. So, I didn't get to work on that. Like I didn't get to work on G's past, recent release. What was it called? It All Happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get to work on that at all. So, yeah. But the next, for sure, you going to see my name all over that motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. And I know you recently filmed the music video for Sweet Thing, too.
Yeah, we just wrapped it up last week. So that's coming, too.
So, yeah, that might be the next piece of Kye content we get.
Maybe.
Might drop
Might
more
drop
music,
a song.
Yeah. Or,
maybe.
But yeah, I guess.
It's some content, like, I'm starting to be more consistent than I used to be.
Just like in your work ethic or just in your
work, everything.
Yep.
With life, let's just say that. Everything's becoming more consistent. Consistency, that was my weakness back then because I always wait. I remember last year I put out one song last year. Well, two. But
was it like Need and Nights?
Them the only two songs I put out last year. No tape, no EP. Produced the whole year. Working on my production. The rapping shit easy to me. So I didn't really care for releasing. That whole stage right there in my life was like figuring out what I wanted to do because I just graduated high school.
Yep.
Do I really want to take this rapping stuff to a new height? Do I want to focus on producing? I even tried to do engineering and it didn't work out for me because I was interning at 825 Studios. I just never came back. They probably hate me for not coming back. We never even had a discussion about me coming back or leaving. So I just stopped showing up. But they know I got tons of love for them. But anyways, yeah, that was just a whole year about finding me.
But you're feeling more just kind of set and consistent now?
Yeah.
It's good to hear.
Had to get it right.
Gotta get it right. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have anything you want to plug? Anything people should look out for?
It might be an EP before the release of Juvenile. Let's hope. I'm gonna do a show in Chicago, St. Louis, Springfield, this fall for sure. Cause they really listen to my music out there. I love it. Cause it's like now it's starting to spread how I want it to. But I mean, you just gonna have to watch. You gonna have to wait and see.
Oh, yeah, where should people follow you and find your music to listen to?
Follow me at Kye Colors on all social platforms. I mean, just Google Kye Colors. What else?
That's good. You're on Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud.
Yeah, you can just put me in a search bar and I'll pop up. So yeah,
sweet. And make sure you follow at Shuttlecock Mag on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Visit shuttlecockmag.bigcartel.com to buy our merch and support the blog and the YouTube and the channel and everything. Look out for the shows we have booked coming up. We got some punk shows booked at the Snake Tank and a couple other spots coming up this summer. Those will be real fun. Check the Facebook events tab or just look on the blog. I think that's all I had. I really appreciate you being on the show today. It was a lot of fun.
All right, for sure. Thank you. I had fun.
Awesome.